How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jimmy. We're gonna spend a day in the shop. Welcome back to the channel. We got a lot going on. We were busy yesterday. We had a really good day. Low stress, everything went really smooth. It was nice. Today, we're gonna be back on that Chevy Traverse, fixing that radiator, doing the water pump, things like that. If you saw yesterday's video, it had a broken fan blade that took out the radiator. So I'm just in here getting the shop open up. 41 degrees this morning. Some of you guys are way tougher than me up there. I couldn't do it. Even Kathy, the Sexton family, they are in the cold weather. And I don't know how you do it. You guys are tough. But I hope it's nice. I hope it's going to get reasonably warm for you guys today. Because 40 degrees just feels bad. Joe's on vacation for the next 2 weeks going to Alaska. And he said the high is supposed to be like 14. Anyway, he's got a little baby girl you might have heard me mention. And she had a little baby boy. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations to them. I think I might have mentioned that before, but I'm not sure. Wanted to say congratulations. I know occasionally he'll watch a minute or two of my videos. Let's finish getting this place open up. Stop horsing around. We got a lot of work to do. I'm not even going to put some clips in because I'm going to leave it a mystery today, because you know we're all about learning things, having fun, mystery, intrigue, drama, suspense. Stay tuned. Fast and Furious, bro. Oh, thanks for the dunking again, Tim. Really nice on a chilly morning. Now, where were we on this Traverser? I put the hose on last night, and yesterday's video, I think that was one of the last things I did, because I'm silly, and I thought it'd be more challenging to get the mount out of the way, so I'd take it back off. So this one I think I can just loosen. I don't have to take out. Makes it easy to move everything around. Once this transverse mounts out, then I got to take the mount or bracket that it bolts to out of the way, and the water pump's way down there. These Traverses, that motor sits like a foot below the fenders. It's one of the only things makes it hard to work on. The engine's not hard to work on, but you just got to get to it. Alright. Memory serves me correctly, these fit out of here once the dancing has done. Yeah. A couple of 18s hold this bracket on. I'm going to have to take the belt tensioner dealio underneath it. I might have to lift it up and get that from underneath though. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there's a 1/2 inch ratchet style opening in the bottom of it to loosen the belt. Get that away. Oh yeah. Save the pickle juicers. Might as well use power tools. We got them. Look at that now. That water pump basically almost jumps out at you. So now I'm going to use my 10mm ratchet wrench, break those pulley bolts loose. Where did I put it? Alright. I got a 2-week bet with Frankie that 3 Bay is going to have the engine back out of that. He's got to pull the engine back out of that road. And because it's bad, I mentioned that earlier in another video. He said he's gonna have that out by lunchtime today. I said okay. I said he won't even have that thing running in 2 weeks when Joe gets back from vacation. So I bet him a sandwich. You can see what happens. And he said he's gonna have it out by lunch today. So I was listening and I didn't hear any power tools. So they got him doing an oil change outside. So I'm gonna get free sandwich. I'm gonna go to Paul's Deli. Frankie's gonna have to buy me lunch. We'll see what happens. That is good stuff. I don't have to take them all the way out. I just felt motivated on that one because I was talking about my free lunch. If that Nissan's not running in 2 weeks when Joe gets back, he has to buy me lunch. If it is running before then, then I have to buy Frankie lunch. I mean, I'm not joking either. We literally talked about it, and 5 minutes later they had Danny doing an oil change instead of working on the engine. So I know I'll win today's bet, not having it out by 2 o'clock. And I'll show you at 2 o'clock. We'll see if the engine's out. Alright. Get these 2 bolts loose up here. And get this belt off now. We can start focusing on the stuff we're actually fixing, which is a water pump. I think I could use... Hey, we're filming in here, man. This is not South Main Auto, bro. The heck? Trying to get the South Main atmosphere going. Bump up them viewerships and subscribers, right, Bill? In South Main Auto, he's got a lawnmower in the background of like 3 out of 5 videos. His neighbor sees him take the camera out, fires up his lawnmower. Alright. Let's see here. Oh, look at this thing. Are you... Oh, look. Bill, Bob, you guys... That last 1/16 of an inch, who needs it? The 1/2 inch doesn't really fit, and 3/8 is too small. So as usual, they've made a custom tool you need. But I just put my 1/2 inch in there and use that frame, pry it in with the pry bar, and now the tool stays in. And when I get it done, I can pry it back out because it's barely smaller than a 1/2 inch tool. If they made it too much smaller, 3/8 would work, so they wouldn't do that. I love engineers. Give them a hug. Well, explains why it looked like it had traces of a leak, because it looks like someone's already changed it and it was leaking. Alright, that's good. Saving some money. We'll put it back together and see when the fans are going to get here. Customer wants the water pump changed because we are putting in an AC Delco. Said he had no warranty where the other one was done and doesn't know what brand it is. So this gasket is not symmetrical, by the way. If you put it the wrong way, the bolts don't line up. Keep that in mind. It's not the wrong gasket. So anyway, 6 bolts, and this AC Delco pump comes with new bolts and everything. You can see the bolts weren't changed, so I know it wasn't a OEM style pump before. I don't feel too bad about popping it in there. We're already at it. A couple hours labor he would have saved. He wants the warranty. I don't blame him. Let's get the bottom 3 bolts out. I'll probably lift it up to do that. Most of the coolant should be out, but it's probably going to lose some. Doesn't sound good. Oh. Have you driven a Ford lately? It's got 70,000 miles on it. I'm guessing they're not changing the oil, because oil changes are expensive. Engines are only $8,000-$10,000. Oil change $50, man. You can't just be throwing money around. You got to get your nails did. I'm just being funny. I don't mean any harm. Just having some fun. Relax. We got to make the show entertaining. Relax. Oh, that one. I think I got to loosen the tensioner from the motor to get the belt out from underneath the son of a gun, because it looks like it would fit, but there's like bosses cast into the timing cover, so it doesn't. That's cool. Now the tensioner, oh, it's a 13. And then another 13, which is about a 1/4 of an inch behind another pulley. So, but what I'm thinking is, if I just loosen both of those 13s, I can tilt the tensioner and get the belt out from under it. I don't have to take it off. I'm not replacing it. First, we'll purge any coolant left in the system from this water pump area. Let's see what we got to do to get that to happen. Someone has siliconed the water pump on. That's not so bad. I'll use a little silicone when I do these, or an engine like this. I'll use just a little silicone to keep the gasket on the pump when I put it in place. But from the factory, they don't put silicone on gaskets. Only in a joint. If 2 pieces of metal meet, they'll put it in that connections, because the gasket may not take up the depth of the little seam. So that one has been untightened, and I'm gonna untighten this one a little more. I've already untightened it a little. I gotta untighten it some more. I'm gonna turn this bolt the opposite direction of right. Something else is also holding it. That's interesting. I thought for sure the tensioner would be loose after those 2 bolts. There's another one somewhere. I wonder if this bolt goes through as well as the other 2. Oh yeah, now it moves. Okay. So we'll turn this out and we'll be able to get the belt out from under there. Clean up that gasket surface. We'll start going back together. Very gently, very patiently. Go around here and get some of this old gasket material off. I don't know if this is original gasket material or that it was left on, or that if this is from that replacement gasket. Kind of odd, but it's got this real thin black film, almost like an EDF or EDM coating they put on body panels when you buy them, and it leaves that behind when the gasket comes off. Whoa, cooling fans here. Nice. Just a little bit to hold my gasket in place. Make sure I got it in the right orientation. Now it's important too not to let this dry. Some people will go, well, I'll set it down and let it dry, but the gasket may not be perfectly flat and the silicone could cause problems rather than helping it seal. So you always want to get this in place, let it help you hold it, and then don't let it dry and install it. The hard part is getting all the way down there with your nuts and bolts and gaskets and pumps, and you can't see anything because it's pretty far away. Oh, there it is. Get a bolt on the other side and I know everything's lined up. Now too, the gasket goes on, looks like it fits both ways. It doesn't. It's the same thing with the water pump. It only fits one direction. There's a little plug in the bottom of it. Looks like a little tiny freeze plug that goes towards the bottom. And the weep hole is actually on top. Here, get this thing tightened up. Won't be nothing but a thing. And we'll be working on that radiator and cooling fan that we started yesterday. There we go. Not a lot of room in here. I took the lines off that little bracket to get that extra 1/4 inch. Get the rest from the bottom, and then try to get that belt out from under the tensioner while I'm down there. About 89 inch-pounds, if you're curious. That's what that was right there. It might not have seemed like it, but it was. Victory!
Victory shall be mine!
Eat well, for tomorrow we fight!
Very good.
Or does he say for tomorrow we die?
Tomorrow, or something for tomorrow we dine in hell.
Tomorrow we die in hell!
I don't, I'm not going to put money on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Someone watching my video knows.
Oh, I bet.
They'll tell me.
Say, in the movie Star Trek, when he says, and tonight we dine, just like completely throw like a random movie out there. You know that scene in Jaws when he says, tonight we dine in hell? Is he dine in hell? That really fucks up.
You know when Lord Sith says we need 1.21 megawatts or gigawatts?
When Darth Vader steals the flux capacitor?
That's what happened. That's exactly how it went.
That's pretty great. I really remember that.
I remember him saying it. Look what the belt packaging has done to this poor thing. I might have mentioned
Oh,
that.
that's ridiculous.
I might have mentioned that once or twice in a previous video.
Looks like a figure 8 for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ.
They don't seem to really care.
I don't care.
They just go, you know what? Give that piece of crap mechanic 0.2 and tell him to shut the hell up and stop whining.
It's like that guy who stacks all those cheap tires on top of each other.
When that eye surgeon doing my wife's eye surgery, the anesthesiologist told us that they're doing 22 eye surgeries that day.
Jesus.
At $7,000 a piece.
Time to go to medical school, man.
I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong trade.
Yeah.
10 to 15 minutes, $7,000.
That's awesome. And it doesn't even have to work that well. Like the end result doesn't even have to...
Just improved vision, people are happy.
That's all. Is it a little better? Done, job well done.
What are you complaining about? Holding that pulley up, getting the first bolt started, that's the hardest part of this job. That's why I did it without the camera in there, because it would have been embarrassing and it probably wouldn't have went at all. So there is not a lot of room in here. I like the looks of the new Chevy Traverse. They're actually pretty good looking cars. And you get all these tight by hand. And you guys, if you've seen me do other water pumps and stuff like that, I'll go around and tighten those holding the pulley with my ratchet wrench. Make sure I get them pretty snug. Then I'll have to go back over it again once the belt's on. If we can get the belt back on. Let go. And that one good peek, make sure it's on all my pulleys. So the way this is, make it easier to remember, is it goes in between these two pulleys to the tensioner and in between these two pulleys to the idler. So it's basically shaped like a big giant H, kind of. That's how I remember them. Now that I hammered my adapter in there with the pry bar, I gotta get it out. Gotta be trickier than they are. Alright, final check. Belt's all good. I can get the bracket up in there. And we'll get this back together real quick. We could have this thing done by lunchtime, I think, no problem. If we stop talking about it and start doing it. Oh, I gotta take my extension out of there. I'll use my hand ratchet, get those torqued down pretty good. We'll get the AC lines back in their brackets. It's a tight squeeze to get that thing on that stud. And there's one in the back too. I took them both off just so I had some more room. It only gives you that much, but that makes a huge difference. Something engineers never consider, but mechanics always do. Let's put this in here. The reason it's a little tricky to get out is because this ledge here. So you got to kind of put the shoulder of that transverse mount behind that, and everything kind of falls into place. Tray in place. This tray and that fuse panel, we're back on Radiator. Radiator, how do you say it? And I'm even tightening the bolts this time. They weren't tight last time. Look at that, it doesn't rattle or anything. Now, the other thing I got to consider is the mess that they had made. Okay, this goes in, something like this. I took it out in the wrong order last time. I didn't know any better. At least I hope I did, because either that or I'm putting it back together the wrong way now. Give all my assistants the rest of the day off. This gets pushed into the side here. There's a couple little push pins. Another assistant. Oh, that's the one for the battery cable. I'm not sure what this add-on stuff is. Alright, go ahead and snap this in because it looks right. And put this together.
Yeah, can you help me with push real quick, please? Please.
This goes like this. Got this all tucked behind here. That's how it was, I believe. It's hot rod stuff. Why they have hot rod stuff on a modern car, I don't know, but some people just love hot rod stuff. Now I'm going to change these ends. This one goes down on that mount for this fuse panel tray, and this one was squeezed between the two battery cables. So what I'm going to do is put round eyelets on both of these so that they're hooked up correctly. Really not the right size, so I doubled it up.
Stream down the side of the glass. And when it streams down,
That's better. Same thing on the ground wire. That's probably why they did it, because generally with the large eyelet, we only have them in yellow. I just pull off an extra length, just make it much longer than I normally would, and double it over. Crimp it down. Get my heat gun, shrink those down. I'm gonna button this up, we'll get on that radiator. Got these two tightened up, that pulls them connectors up. Not sure why there's a fuse missing from here, maybe that's what this bypass thing is, I'm not sure. But, I'm ready to put the cover back on. We're getting into some serious radiator action. Someone had taped it back closed, I hope that's not a sign of problems to come. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to work. Don't need to cut those straps. I hope. And even though this is plastic, like I've mentioned before, working with some plastics and especially sheet metal, but this is all sharp. So you gotta be careful. Anytime you grab something, just don't drag your hand across it. Try to grab it and hold it. And these are hard rubber. Some kind of foam. Freaking hard though. I don't know how they'll protect those ears. If you drop it hard enough, they're gonna hold so well that they'll break still, but it looks okay. I don't see anything broken or cracked. Not sure why it was brought back. Let's go see if it fits our radiator outside next to the running compressor. I might give them a minute to shut off. I'm wondering if they put that back in the box because it's a tight squeeze between the radiator tank ends, and I had to kind of tap it down with my hand to get it below this and next to these channels. But now that it's there, I think it'll fit. I might actually get some channel locks just to squeeze that gently instead of using my hands, because this is all sharp like I mentioned. Got my hardware right here where it won't get lost. And if you saw yesterday's video, they also have two screws in the middle. I think just because they tend to bow out over time maybe. I'm hoping it won't take much force. Just don't want to hit it by hand. The only way to make it better is if it's all aftermarket stuff from two different brands. Yeah, that's cool. I gotta get something to pry this up here in the center. Ta-da! Doesn't quite fit perfect, but it's close. And they made the molds. They were like, yeah, get it within an 1/8 inch or so. It'll work. I got my drill out because these are not drilled for my little screws, and I want to put them back. They're there for a reason. And I'm going to guess GM knows more. What I was going to say is I think GM knows more than the aftermarket supplier. No coolant goes through there, that's just the aluminum bracing. And there's already a gap there, so drilling the hole is pretty easy. Some hose action. Lower hose. I think it fits. Not positive if the hose fits in there, by the way. We're hoping. They look the same. Trying to be Olivia Newton-John over here. Because it was so hard, I didn't slide the clamp forward like I normally would. I'm going to try to wiggle that clamp forward and then release it. We'll get it. Alright, I just had to squeeze it some more with my hose clamp tool to get it on, and then pop it with my hose release tool. Same thing with the upper. Got these in loose, got to tighten them up. Overflow hose, electrical connector. This is for the hood latch. I think we're good. Let's just tighten those up. You gotta make sure that's all the way down, because it looks like that mount is up. A lot of caveman stuff going on right now. Filming in between best I can. Got these upper mounts in. Ready to lift all this up. Gotta get my cooler lines before I get too carried away. I don't use the pry bar with a ton of force. I use it because I can't fit both my hands down there. So I'm leaning on the pry bar while I wiggle it and try to get it perfectly straight. And once it is, it just goes, and the clips will relax. And these little plastic retainer doodads should go over them without much fuss. If they don't, the clips aren't engaged or released all the way. Air deflector. I see way too many of these on the ground after people do a radiator. Don't let me see you doing it here. You'll be in trouble, because I will rat you out. I might even make a video about you if it's bad enough. I don't like doing that. I only do it when it's really silly. Someone shouldn't be a mechanic at all. When someone makes a mistake, I don't do it. Someone shouldn't be fixing cars, then yeah, I'll do. Now this gets bolted down the bottom. Right around there. There is 3 on each side, by the way. The further I dug yesterday, the more I found. There's one at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. We got our cooler bolts tight, our hood latch brace bolts tight. Those are 13s. The cooler's got 15s. The hood latch has 13s down there, and you got to tighten that hood latch before you put the cooler up because it blocks it a little bit. You can get it from underneath, but you have to raise the lift. I don't want to do that. About ready to get the brace on here. You don't want to tighten these up until the little 10s are in here. Those 10s align it. At least I think that's how it works. So that's how I'm going to do it. .610s for those. These I had to get with my ratchet wrench. Look over here. Come on, what are you doing? Staring at me just because I'm looking so sexy today in my new jacket. My wife got me. Get this on, we can put that front bumper on. Just those 6 bolts. Those. Latch, containers. Alright, let's go grab that bumper. like it never even happened. It's got a bad oil pump. Service bulletin about it. 70,000 miles. Alright. 2 wheel well liners. Some fluids. Not crazy, but nice and easy. I'm gonna have this done way before lunch. As long as I didn't jinx myself right there. What I'm trying to say is coolant's going in it. Alright, we got coolant. It does have a weak battery. We got that on our inspection report, but we're holding off for now. Let's make sure this thing doesn't leak. I already torqued the wheels. I don't remember if I filmed it or not. Needs a little more coolant. We got a good circulation. Needs a little more coolant. I'll just keep doing this till we get it full. That's over 1.5 gallons, almost 2 gallons. So we're close. If there's air in it, it's not going to be much. I got to get the engine cover on it, and the cover that goes here that covers the radiator cap, which I'm not sure why they've ever done that. You can't just put a hole there for some reason. Maybe it caused some kind of wind noise. I don't know. All I do know is it's certainly holding cool a lot better than it already was. We got somewhere. Make sure our transmission lines are not leaking at all. We didn't even lose but a few drops of transmission fluid. We can take a look right here. Because these have dipsticks like the old days. Oh, that does need a little bit. Let me wipe that down and make sure. It is cold, so it'll be, you know, 1/3 of a quart lower. That thing's gonna need a splash of transmission fluid. Put a 1/2 quart in and we'll recheck it. Holy moly, man. This thing was low before I worked on it. I didn't lose hardly any transmission fluid out of those lines. I can't find the correct funnel, so I'm making do with what we got. Making it work. You might ask yourself, what's he working on now? Remember the 2002 Toyota Camry that had that EGR code? I'm gonna fix the exhaust. He's like, you know what? Those exhaust leaks bother me. Let's go ahead and fix it. It's a little rusty, but this is not South Main Auto level rust. Just a little rusty for Florida. It's really not so bad. I've already sprayed everything down. Went to lunch, came back, sprayed it again. So you guys have seen this car a couple times now. It's a pretty clean 2002 Camry with 176,000 miles on it almost. Not bad. It's the one with the tape on the door handle and stuff. That's the last thing really it needs to fix. We got a new pipe down here. He said the catalytic converter's here. I'm like, what? I hope it's a Y pipe. But now I see why he was calling it that. It's got a converter in it. Right here. Secondary cat. 14's on the exhaust. 12 on the hanger. This one just slides out of there. 14 on the flange. It even came with new gaskets. Look at this. Uh-oh. I thought I broke that loose enough. I guess not. This one spun right out. And then I said, you know what? I should be filming that part. I said, I'll spin out the other one for my friend. And then I had to go get the wrench. So I look kind of silly. That's all right. I'm still learning. Every day on the job, I learn something. And then the thing I've learned the most lately is if you grab the camera, it might come off the rails. Yeah, Yeah, that's right. Ooh, they're hot too. Be careful. Don't grab them yet. These are bolts and nuts. Oh no, the nuts are welded. Okay. Can't turn the nuts. That's fine. Uh-oh. What do I do now? I know. Some more PD blaster. Right up in here. See what happens. Worst case scenario, we got to break that, cut the weld, break the nut off the back, put a new bolt and nut. Uh-oh. Son of a gun came 4 turns out and then stopped coming out. We'll come up with something for it, don't worry. I'm gonna take this hanger off. Wish that other bolt would have come out that easy. Can you see it? You see it? All right. Not sure, I might have to get a different chisel. This might not fit, but I'm sure I'm gonna try. The thread's already messed up. I'm just trying to get it out. Once this bolt's out of the way, I can cut that nut off easier and put a bolt and a nut in it. The problem's gonna be, with the threads boogered up, it's gonna have to make sure they're all mad. Usually that makes them pop out of there, but this one's really upset with how the whole thing has gone down. So I might just have to cut through the nut and bolt. Now if I set this blade here, I should be able to feed it up. That's the plan. Keep it flat on the flange. And I'm keeping my face. I got the cutting blade here, my face is a foot this way, so I'm not even close to where this thing might hit me. I do appreciate the ones who are concerned. Now, how far along am I? Let's see how far along we are. Beat it. That's what I'm saying. Now that might come down. I don't want to let go of it just in case. I don't think so, but it might. I think these two kind of hold it. I might have to lose some of these cats. There it is. I got a bad habit of asking nicely. Just make it happen. Force your will. Alright, shouldn't go too far. Oh, stayed on my shoulder. Oh, rest your head on my shoulder. Alright. I think. I gotta find some of the hardware I destroyed. Get this thing buttoned up. Run a thread chaser over these so we don't have any problems. That's the last thing we want. And you might notice both of these bolts are new. and nuts, because the one that didn't have a problem coming out, when I went to put it back in, it jammed before it was tight. I didn't clean the threads. That's why I cleaned the threads on the other side. I ended up having to replace them both. I chiseled it off just like the other one. Partial grind, partial chisel. Gotta grab a wrench. So much for looks. I happen to have a second nut right here. I'll try. See if that works. I don't know. Couldn't tell you why, but the other one looked fine. One of my nuts is weird and one of my nuts works. I don't understand why. It is what it is. You deal the card you played it. What is it? You play the card you dealt. That's it. Now, you guys know I like to be a little tricky with my O2 sensor instead of unplugging it. If you want to unplug it, you feel free. I'm going to unwind it about 4 or 5 turns. Find my threads at the same time. Now when I turn it in 4 or 5 turns, everything's going to line up nicely. And it's going to be like my little victory for today. Alright, my O2s are in. This clamp is tight, but it doesn't do a whole bunch of stuff. It just kind of holds it this way, I guess. It's probably a little thicker from the factory because it looks like it touches on the factory pipe. Got a hanger here. These are tight. We're gonna fire this thing up. Got new nuts and everything. That's a bit quieter, but it doesn't sound like it's perfect. I'm gonna lift it up and check my gaskets with it running. That's what I thought. Got a little leak right up front. We're just tightening them bolts some more. Coming right from there. Very slight. We can make it better. You know what I did? I think I didn't tighten that all the way while I get this one lined up. That's what it was. Oh, it's tight. It's only this one. I didn't quite tighten enough. I've been remembering it wrong, but the key point is it's quiet. Win! Alright, we got a new update, man. That thing, it literally did the update in like 20 seconds. I was turning the camera on, I look up and it's done. That's pretty cool. I want to look at fuel trims on this thing and make sure he's not getting any more check engine lights and stuff. And if he's not, and the light stays out, man, is everybody going to be happy? Even this grease monkey guy. Should I be insulted by that? I think it's pretty funny, but I know some people might be insulted. I don't get insulted that easy. You guys might have seen with my other scanner, when I looked at this, it wouldn't recognize the VIN, it wouldn't auto detect. So it made me go through regular diagnosis. But this scan tool I thought was cool. I didn't get to show you because it happened fast. As I pick up the camera, this thing's done. It said enter VIN, select make. I like that because select make makes me not go back to the front page and start just a plain diag to get it to identify. This is the one we got without VSC. Okay, so that's pretty cool. This thing's turning out to be a pretty good scan tool. All right, we're starting off with no codes, so everyone's happy. Now we'll find our fuel trim data, take a look, see what that looks like, and then I'll take it for a drive. A lot of traffic, so I'm not going to be filming while I'm driving. But if anything does happen, of course, I'm going to show you. Fuel trim, bank 1 sensor 1. And we're just going to put up bank 1 sensor 1 for bank 1, bank 2 sensor 1. Let's look at EGR position and gas. Just because we had EGR problems, let's take a look and see what we got. Let's put in graph. I don't see a way on this scan tool to bring up more than 4 graphs at a time. Some scan tools will make the graphs tiny and give you a bunch of them. This one does 4 at a time, which that's fine. All you'll do is, if you got really important ones you want to look at, we can take these 2 off. We can bring in the EGR. Might have to put it in gear for it to let the EGR valve open. That's good. I want to see the EGR valve open, and I want to see the exhaust temperature sensor in the EGR valve go up. I know it opened. Fuel trims are looking good. Everything's good. So I'm going to button this thing up, close the hood, take it for a little drive. If anything more comes of it, I'll show you guys. Oh, I thought that was bird poop. 72, I think this is. Look at that, 72 high performance Chevrolet pickup truck. Got a custom grill, and they bent it so they can get to the hood release. Just put the stock grill in it. Oh, huh. Customer states runs rough and stalls while driving. Fuel system concern. What are we going to do with this? It's an LS swap, so who knows what we're getting involved in. It's custom wired. The truck manifold. That's the throttle control for the gas pedal and throttle body. ECM with some cool brackets they made and stuff. That's not bad. I actually did a decent job. I don't care for the placement of it myself. Put the ECM probably on the other side. But, I mean, it'll work there, I guess. Did they do all this stuff and they can't figure out why it runs rough? Is that what they're saying? I'm trying to figure that out. I don't like the way these are pressed into that battery tray. Looks like there's a fuse holder down there. Never say never. I mean, I can figure out anything. But it might be about half what this truck's worth. Got the custom K&N air filter, you gotta have it. MSD superconductor. This engine's been rebuilt or repainted, one or the other. Might have an aerosol overhaul. Look at that. Not sure why you'd want to have that adapter on there and have it all the way out from the engine. It might take a little while longer to show actual temperature, but I don't know. I would try to get that sensor as close to the cylinder head as I could, just like it was from the factory, but that's just me. I like that he's got shorty headers on it. Those are a little easier to work with than the long tube. The long tube headers take up so much room. There's a big bolt down there I see where the copper transmission cooler lines are. Alright, let's start it up, see how it runs. Runs rough, fuel system concern. I love these trucks, so that's a shifter mount, like for a low car shifter that goes on the transmission. Someone's been doing some rear end stuff, tune up stuff, wiring. They charge them 1 hour to figure it out. Who knows how long they've been working on it, trying to figure it out. I don't understand that part of this job, but I hear a fuel pump. I hear exhaust leaks. So what happens on these, if you look at where the O2 sensor is and then where the collector leaks are, so when you have an exhaust leak right in front of the O2 sensor, then that sound you hear coming out, since the exhaust system pulses, air is going in and telling it it's lean. So the fuel system is adding fuel because of the exhaust leaks. So right off the bat, we got to fix those exhaust leaks. Let's see if we have an open lift back here. Nope. Okay. I was hoping to pull it on that back lift and take a look at it tonight. It's getting late. Seems actually run pretty decent, although I bet you it's running pretty rich. Needs the exhaust leaks fixed. Steering wheel's cool, I like that. A little slippery, but it looks nice. No one ever wires in their horn. My horn works on my 62. Do it while you're doing it, do it. I hope that's not a fuel filter. And because this thing has about 50 psi, 58 psi fuel pressure. I'm sorry, I'm just making observations, looking around while the camera's on. Normally I would do this before turning the camera on. But I want to see what we can get done for today with it. There you go. That wasn't plugged in all the way. Now it is. Let me see if I can find a bay for this thing today or not. Maybe I'll play with it a little bit. Let's see if we can sort out what kind of GM truck engine this is. Probably a 5.3. That's what I put in my 49. Great engines, and they're plentiful, so that's usually what people use. I'm gonna see if I can sort that out, and we'll come back, take a look. It's running really rich, probably because, like I said, the exhaust leaks. Select make Chevrolet. Should be interesting trying to figure out what year this gen might be, but maybe it'll be programmed in there. I don't know. They got a factory style ECM, so I'm gonna guess, you know, 2007, something like that. And then we'll see how it communicates. GM's pretty forgiving with that stuff. I'm gonna try automatically search just to see if it auto IDs. Now that I told it Chevy. Oh, why that really bothers me. These are one-wire horns. When you hook them up, one wire to the button. 2005 Chevy Silverado. That's the VIN the PCM came out of. Yep. Base radio. Manual AC. I'm going to check engine light's blinking, but it's not really running too bad. Smells like an old carbureted truck or car. I wonder if that light was blinking when it was just starting to communicate. Engine misfire, evap purge, evap vent, fuel tank pressure, fuel level sensor, fuel fill door, traction control. So none of these codes have to do anything connected on this truck. So the only thing is this misfire. We should be able to go through and look at data, just like if it was a 2005 Silverado. Let's bring up misfire data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to assume there's going to be random misfires from all 8 cylinders because they're all getting too much fuel. But I'm not sure. Cylinder 1 is not happy. Blew that out of the water. So there's a misfire in cylinder 1. Bring it off idle and see what happens. Misfires on that whole bank. 7, 5, 3, and 1 for a second there. 1 and 5. So this might be suffering from the problem that my truck had. I had the injectors from one bank connected to the other bank, or was it the O2 sensor? I forget which. I had something switched in the wiring harness when I put my, before I started YouTube, I had a 49 Chevy. I did the same swap, and I want to say, I forget if it was the injectors or O2, but I had the harness upside down. Everything plugs in left to right, so it'll read the O2 sensor from that bank and put the fuel trim on the other bank. So it makes whatever problem it's trying to correct worse. Very possible. So what we're going to do is, it's getting to the end of the day. I'm going to pull up some 2005 Silverado wiring for injectors and O2s and things like that before I even start digging into this thing, and see if I can get those wire colors and all, and then we can try to identify if something might be plugged in left to right like that. And that'll be real quick and easy. I know we got to fix those exhaust leaks, but those won't cause one bank type of problem. That would cause fuel trim issues on both banks. I'm only seeing bank 1. Let's do that. I'm gonna pull up some diagrams. I'm not sure if we're gonna have time to get that done today, but we're gonna try. All right, guys, we are running out of time, but got some wiring for the O2 sensors. Got my wiring diagram for fuel injectors. That's all 8. Then I got a wiring diagram for the coils from one bank And then I got a wiring diagram from the coils from the even bank. So we're gonna mess with this some more on Monday. Everyone's closing up and going home, and you see the shop's getting emptied out pretty good. He's got the engine back out of the Nissan, so that's good. Some stuff's happening. We'll pick up on this. We'll pick up on this classic '72 Chevy truck on Monday. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your company. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll torque the like button on the way out. Don't forget, I got a bunch of people stepping up and supporting the channel. Down in the description below, there's links to get discount codes and things for some brands if you're interested in some things. Lasfit, the floor liners, bed liners, stuff like that they make. Kaiweets, Ansel. I just did a Think Car affiliate application yesterday. I got approved for that, so I'm going to be adding that soon. So check them out if you're interested in anything you see me using in the shop or some of the things I've done on my own personal vehicles. I made videos about that stuff. I appreciate that support. Either way, just get in the comments and mix it up a little bit. Torque the like button, that kind of thing really helps the channel. You don't have to buy anything. I just appreciate you hanging out with me and clicking a couple of buttons for no charge. Hope I see you in the next one. You're awesome.